Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the After School Special, which is the 2014 Alumni Visual SVA Alumni Film and Animation Festival. My name, yay. I'm Annalisa Garfunkel. I'm the Director of Operations for the Masters in Live Action Short Film program here at SVA. And this is a program that is now in its 5th year. And we have 4 great films for you that are all alumni from this program, which is essentially a directing program. And actually next year we're going to become the MPS directing program. So we're actually shifting our name to reflect better what we give our students. And we are really proud of the work our alumni have been doing. I'm really impressed. I've been with the program for about a year and a half now, and our alumni are working, and they're directing, and they're shooting, and they're really creating some great work. So hopefully this will give you an idea of what we do in our program. After the 4 films show, we will have a Q&A with the 4 directors. So I hope you guys will stick around and listen to what they have to say and ask some good questions. And I just want to announce the filmmakers are Ali Akarcesme, Anissa Folley, Adrienne Nicole, and Eric Pennycoff. And Gabriel Wilson will not be here today. So, but those are your 4 filmmakers. And at this time, you can go ahead and turn off your cell phones, put them on silent so that we don't have any rings happening. And I'm supposed to tell you to make sure that you add the hashtag #AfterSchoolSpecial to your Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook posts. And don't forget that this evening at 5:30, there will be the closing film for the festival, which is Kevin Ash's Affluenza at 5:30. So thank you all for coming. So I'd like to welcome our filmmakers up for our Q&A. We're going to have one of our current live action short film students, Elsie Walker, is going to moderate. And if you'll please welcome Anissa Folley, Eric Pennycoff, Adrienne Nicole, and Ali Akarcesme.
How's everyone doing? I'm going to be the host. My name's Elsie Walker. I'm a current student in the short live action program. And before we get started, how about we just have everyone introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm Ali Akarcesme. You've seen the film about the lady asking for Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, I'm the filmmaker.
Hi, I'm Anissa Folley. I had the first film with the angry Hispanic woman. And then the other thing, yeah.
No, but it's fine. I'm Adrienne Nicole, and I have all the loud music videos. And it was an in-store TV promo that, like the fitness video, so, yeah.
And my name is Eric Pennycoff, and I made the pod and M is for Mariachi.
All right, well, nice to meet all you guys. So my first question to you guys is, at a young age, a lot of people don't really know what they want to do with their lives. When did you guys realize that you wanted to be an artist? At what age, and when did it click?
Okay. I would say I realized maybe like my junior year in undergrad that I didn't want to go forward with political science and communication, which are both fluffy majors because I never knew what I wanted to do. And I realized it, and I went out and shot a documentary as like an independent project for a class, and then that went well, and I was like, I like doing this, I should learn how to do it some more, so then I came to SVA.
Yeah, for me, I'm coming from documentary background, actually. Had a lot of one-man band type of things related to go and film particular stories of human beings. And from there, I actually was looking for an opportunity to focus on writing and directing a little more. Then I found out about SVA's program. And then after that, things really worked out real well. and came up with this film, Departures. And after that, you know, I would like to work on more short films.
I didn't really know I wanted to make movies probably until later in college. I started off playing in bands. That was always my first love, was music. And I always loved movies, always loved horror movies growing up. That's always been consistent. But it wasn't until I started seeing lower budget horror movies from a certain company that I interned for that I started to see how it was made. It wasn't this unbelievable thing that I had no idea about. I understood it more. So yeah, I did some film in college and then applied for the program at SVA, and then that was really when I sort of made the decision, like, this is what I want to do. As far as style and things that I'm into and everything that goes into what you saw has been there from an early age, but the filmmaking part came a little later.
Yeah, I played sports growing up, and I was really into sports, and I kind of was out of it and didn't want to play in college. And so my mom sent me to School of Visual Arts for the summer program when I was 17, like the summer before my senior year of school, and I fell in love with it. It was like I had hit the winning shot in games, you know, a couple of different times. Like everybody just goes crazy, and it's like this amazing feeling. And I wrote and like ended up kind of like falling into directing and editing 2 shorts while I was here for the summer. And I remember there was just this part where like the actor like went into frame, and like it was exactly kind of like how I wrote it to like a degree where like I could feel like the vision, like when you envision something and then you actually start to see it happen, and it happens in front of the camera. And I felt like it was like hitting a winning shot. Like I felt like the crowd went wild. Like it was kind of like, but it was inside of me. And from like that moment of like seeing it, I just wanted to do, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. And the only reason why my mom sent me here was because I used to always say like, like, you know, the sound to the film when it goes like ting, I want to like do that ting. Like, what's that? Like, who's that person? And so when I kind of fell out of love with basketball, my mom thought, why not see if this is her thing? And I'm happy she did, because I went to college for film at Full Sail in Winter Park, Florida, and then came here for master's. So.
All right. So what do you guys? Oh, sorry. So what do you guys want people to take from your work? Obviously, we've seen so many different genres of films and music videos. What do you guys want people to take from your work?
I just want people to have fun and laugh mostly. I don't know, I mean, you know, loving horror movies, you know, there's a lot you can say about horror movies having something to do with, you know, the politics of the time and all these different things, and like those are all true. Like there's definitely a deeper level to horror and genre movies that I believe in, but ultimately for me, they're just the most fun to make. It's like it's just pure fun.
For me, it's always been like, I just want to take the person away, and like when they come out, they just realize that life is like pretty beautiful. Like they just like come out with a different perspective. Like, because to me, filmmaking and movies in general, everything is about escapism. So it's that whole like my best compliment ever was some girl was like, she told me she missed her train stop. She was watching the video and she just totally missed her train stop. I was like, yes. Like, you went away. You totally forgot about everything. Like, because life is so crazy and, like, we get so bogged down. And I feel like us as filmmakers, we get this opportunity. Same with musicians. They, like, get the opportunity just to take people away, man. So, yeah.
I'm always interested in, I guess, people's feelings. I love the fact that everyone who's sitting here can watch the same thing and every single person will have a different thought. So I make movies and films and things to make people feel things. You know, whether you feel like you're on the edge of your seat, you don't know what's going to come next, or you feel that urge to cry, or you laugh. If I can make you feel something, then I did my job as a filmmaker.
For me, it's interesting because I was talking about this topic with my actor who's here, by the way. Gamze is here with us, the main actor from Departures. We were talking about it, and I guess the main thing is, as a person who was raised overseas and now living here in the States, the human touch is so important, because the universality of the whole thing that you share on the screen, whether you're a person from a little village in China or a person in New York City, that universal theme that everybody can relate to. If I try to succeed and have viewers, feel some of that, then I would consider myself successful in that sense.
So, being at the work that we just seen, what were some of the obstacles that you guys face on set from the work that we just checked out? Like, did you guys have any budget issues? How did you guys raise your funds? What was that like? What was that experience like?
Of course, the professional help. Personally, I was working with somebody like Bob Giraldi, who was our professor at SVA. Especially his advice related to some certain things was really helpful. Aside from that, I guess personally, filmmaking, this is my first film, and from that perspective, it's a risk. You're taking this big risk, and a week before everybody started filming their things, you would have seen that risk in people's eyes. So you basically have that courage by being around those professionals around you to be able to go there and film these things. We filmed Departures in February. You've seen some bus stop scenes, some certain things. We try to do our best related to shooting things outdoors, were some of the typical, simple obstacles that we went through. But, I guess.
We had a lot of obstacles with Thicker Than Water. Solange is here in the second row, and Eric is here in the back. We almost got arrested because we were shooting with no permit, as most indie filmmakers do. So almost got arrested. Luckily, Solange's uncle or someone who Solange knew owned the liquor store that we were right in front of about to get arrested. So they let us shoot in the store. So that store scene, that wasn't really there in the script. But we made it up on there. And then the rain, it wasn't supposed to rain. But we had to make it work. Luckily, someone had a van, and we just rode down the street really slow shooting that scene, and then we were supposed to be on foot. So a lot of things happened, but we made the best of it. My family was super supportive. They helped with raising funds, and I had awesome classmates. A lot of people came out and helped, and great actors, so it all worked out.
With each one, there was different obstacles, I guess. I mean, the fitness video wasn't as bad because I was shooting for an HSN, like Home Shopping Network. I shot a product, and I basically branded the product, and so that product's in that video just a little bit. So I kind of, because I was shooting in that gym for that product and doing the DVD video in that product, I did a video for that gym. So I basically just kind of came back and shot their class as well as put this product in there. So it wasn't like too many obstacles with that one, but New York, the police rolled up on us totally in that Central Park scene when I had like the girl and I had to try to explain it, and they were like, take your hands off the car. I'm like, wait, I'm just, but they were cool. They let us shoot an extra 15 minutes. I mean, I shot it at night, and I was like, there's no kids around, it's night. Like, I tried to make it seem okay. But the gas mask thing just really wasn't good. Like, them, it just wasn't good. But they were cool. They let us. New York is cool about certain stuff. Like, you can kind of, if you get the right police officer. Because sometimes they're, like, not cool. I've had to totally run a couple times. But, yeah, the Metropolitan Museum, you don't shoot there. Like, just so you guys know. Inside or outside. They have snipers on the outside, if you didn't know that. I found out. But so that film, those were kind of like a lot of the problems. Also, there was really no budget. She paid for the video after she got signed. Or I guess Universal paid for the video after she was signed. So we were doing the video for her to get signed. So that was like a lot of the problem because I was working with the PR. So you're dealing with like no budget, then you're dealing with like a really high-end PR that has all these different demands. And it was just trying to like come up with something really cool that people are gonna replay and people are gonna be interested in her. And like if you were to see her as an artist for the very first time, you would go find her other music. That was the edited version, so there was a lot of chickens and Christopher Columbus. There was a lot of cursing in that song. But I did feel like we were able to come up with something that made people click, made people replay, and made people go find out more about her as an artist. And like 20 years from now, people would go back and you would know maybe like more about her if you saw that very first video. Like you would see where her career went from that first video. And that was kind of like my goal with it. The Good Love video, that was actually a whole bunch of montage video from their tours and them traveling. And they basically flew me in and asked me to make a music video out of all of the like previous promo video work. And so I just came up with the story and shot a girl over that video. And that's why it's overlaid and lapped like that. So it was more just kind of a problem in post because there's a lot of continuous montage in that. Those are the videos we showed here, right? New York, Good Love. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Well, the biggest problem is 10 months. 10 months is not a lot of time to make a movie, especially, within school. I mean, I thought that because I was making a movie that was contained in one location, minimal cast, I thought I was eliminating the problems, but I mean, just the time, the money. I did raise a good amount through Kickstarter, which I was pleasantly surprised with. That was my first experience with crowdfunding. So that helped a lot. Let's see, I mean, it was, this was 2012, so it was Sandy hit, I remember like writing the script while my building was shaking. And then we shot the actual pod. If anyone's familiar with the area called Garrison, New York, it's upstate. My producer's from that area. He had a location where we built the pod out of, so it was a lot of communicating, with the guy who basically lived there and built it. I would go up on weekends that I could and help him. It's sort of in the middle of nowhere. Snow hit real hard. It was just like we were fighting weather constantly, even though we were, inside a space pod and inside of a building. It was mostly just the orchestration of building it, working from here, working up there. Surprisingly, the visual effects that the company High Organic did was fairly easy. They're this company out of Taiwan that I just hit up because I saw them do a nebula animation that I really, really liked and asked them, like, hey, how much would you do for something like this? And they did everything for free. They completely just liked the script enough, and I was like, I never met them, just communicated through email, and they did it all. It was crazy just having them, hook up a major part of the movie that I thought would cost a lot of money. So that was kind of the pod. With M's for Mariachi, I should probably put a little context out there. It's for a competition called the ABCs of Death, which basically what it is this was the ABCs of Death 2, and every year they make one of these. They pick 26 filmmakers, and they give them each a letter of the alphabet, and it's up to you to make a 3-minute short film. It just has to revolve around a death of your choice, starting with the letter you're given. So what they do is when they do these, they actually give it to 25 filmmakers, and then they save one letter for like an open contest. So that's what it was for. It was for the contest, which it didn't win, but they picked a handful of ones that they really liked, and mine was included for some special feature thing. I don't know. Haven't heard much else about it, but so yeah, that's what it was. It had to be 3 minutes. So I guess the issues with that were shooting it for no money, 21-hour day, did it all in one tiny basement. Sticky, a lot of people, a lot of pizza, a lot of beer. And then editing it was actually kind of tricky. I work as an editor as well, and really like nailing it. I've never had to edit something for a timeline, so I had to hit 3 minutes or less. And I definitely shot more than I could fit in, so getting it to fit 3 minutes was tricky too. It's definitely a good crash course in nailing a time limit.
So what type of feedback have you guys been getting? Like film festivals, family, friends? What type of feedback have you guys been getting from the work that we've seen?
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Departures have been awarded by 2 New York Film Festivals for Best Director and Best Drama Awards. So we were blessed to have such a thing in different festivals. And I guess over 10 different official selections from different festivals all around the world was what we had. So it was great. And aside from that, family support, of course, was important. They were behind me in that sense. And I guess that's it, you know. Really happy.
Thank you. I think most of my friends and family have had pretty positive feedback. We've won a couple Best in Shows. I've won a couple Best Directors. We got accepted into like 15 plus festivals. And we did like a 12-city tour with the film. So that was cool. I've gotten lots of positive feedback online. As far as that thing, My Trip to 106, that was a pilot I shot for BT, where I work now, for our first web series that we're going to do. So everyone liked it, but it didn't really get picked up. So that's why I went to show it to you guys, because no one else will ever see it. So that's all the feedback that it'll be getting, yeah.
The pod, I submitted it. It played at the Philip K. Dick Sci-Fi Film Festival. It screened at Anthology Film Archive. I don't know. I submitted it to a few other festivals I didn't get into, but to be honest, I probably didn't submit it to as much stuff as I should have. Shortly after that, I mean, the ABCs of Death thing came out, and I got really busy doing with that, and then that got received really well. So I don't know. The pod, it's, you know, I did stuff with it, but I definitely haven't done as much with it as I should have probably. The ABCs of Death thing went really well. I mean, you know, they had, I think, 700 from across the world that were online, and people voted on them, and the judges picked them. And, you know, it didn't win the coveted, like, one spot, but it got picked up by a company called Draft House Films, who releases the ABCs of Death. So they, like, screened it at the Alamo Draft House in Austin, Texas, when they had, like, a release party for it and stuff, which is really cool. And as far as I know, it's supposed to go on like the Blu-ray extras or something when it comes out. They just picked a handful of other like fan submissions for that they really liked, because I guess apparently it was a hard decision. So that's about, you know, as far as that went. Yeah.
Kids Are Dangerous did MTV Brazil and got some other press like Enemy and some press like that. New York got like Time Magazine, Rolling Stone, Pitchfork. Pitchfork is where it premiered, and then kind of after that, it just kind of went on its own little run. It got like 200,000 hits or something like that, like less than a month. It was doing really well. We had legal stuff happen where like I ended up yanking the video and stuff. So, but that has to do with money and signings and just lawyers and stuff like that. But it did very well. Like, it got a lot of press. It also, I think it got Vibe magazine. For the most part, like, at that time, you named it, it was placed there. And that was, like, a really nice thing to see it do so well. And then Good Love got UKF, I think it's called UKF, sorry. I'm so sorry. People who love drum and bass and stuff, they know exactly what that is, like, but yeah, so all of them did very well, and then that promo is in the store actively being played. If you go to that particular mall, you'll see it being played in the mall, like on their video, like as well as in the store, and then that product got on Home Shopping Network. So.
All right, so my next question for you guys is, what has life been like after film school? And what type of advice you can give someone like myself who's actually a current student? Do you want to start here? We can start here at the end.
Me again? Yeah, I guess being recognized in different festivals was really important, and I was, okay, it's a different thing, but overseas in different parts where I grew up, it was Turkey. I was on newspapers. That was unexpected, but I guess it was a good motivational start for, you know, somebody that goes through this process of filmmaking. in writing and directing from this particular approach. Overall, I'll be honest, normally, yes, it made some changes, but you always have to be in that loop of keep filming, keep making new things. So I guess I feel like I should do some certain things aside from the other things that you have during the day, you know, to pay the bills. You got to do those daily things. But at the same time, on the weekends or particular holiday times, I plan to work on my next film, which I plan to shoot in a couple of months, about a boy and a truck, a dump truck and a boy and their relationship, that type of a thing. So I guess it was positive, and to be able to be more successful and learn from the mistakes of films that I make, like departures. I want to make better projects, better films, and be part of them in that sense and share it with the viewers. So it was good.
I'm just kidding. Since the program, I guess everything has been positive. I definitely have to do better at setting apart time to actually create. Like, you have to, at least for me, I have to like be in the zone in order to write something or come up with something, and you kind of got to get in touch with your subconscious mind. So you can't think with the same mind that you know, like remember your keys with and like remember stuff at work. Like, that's a different mind than, like, you have to tap into your creative. So I have to do better at actually setting out the time to do that, because I work 60-hour work weeks and there's not a lot of time sometimes. So I would say for you, like, relish this time while you're in school and while you have this free equipment. Don't just make one project. They tell you to make one project, make 3. You know what I mean? Like, all the resources are there, and you will never ever have that again. So take advantage.
Can I add one more thing? Sure, go ahead. Speaking of that, I forgot the second part of the question about the advice for you. I guess the key thing is, just like an artist, painting is what, you know, they're known for, or any other person that creates some particular things with a concrete final product. For filmmakers, it's the film. If you want to be the director, without the film that you could share it with, you know, other people out there, the professionals, it may be a little different. And one of the key things that this program provided is, at the end of the program, you have something solid. You have departures, you have your film. So with that, you could actually have different options in terms of how you want to move on with, you know, your career.
Yeah, thank you.
Really, I would say just kind of finding your own lane is the biggest thing, I think. Is like, if you find your own lane and you find what really works for you, it may be working for other people for 5-10 years before you branch out and do your own thing, and you're gaining from that knowledge. Or it may just be going out there and just making your own web series or whatever. I think the biggest thing is finding your own lane and finding something that you can stay true to your heart with, like your morals, your values, your ethics, like the way that you feel good about your product and you feel good about what you're doing. Like, and at the end of the day, like, your film is going to be sold, your film is going to be shown other places. And I think it's like finding that lane where you feel comfortable to create within that, because we're all different people. We all see so differently, and we all make something that's so different. But I can't make what he makes. I look at what he makes and I thought that was absolutely amazing, and it made me want to go make some sci-fi stuff. But my sci-fi won't look the way his sci-fi does, and I think that is the best thing about what we do. But that's also one of the hardest things, I think, as a director, is to like be okay with, I don't make what I see on MTV a lot of times. Like, I don't make that stuff. And so that's okay. But I can do the best me. I can create the best things that I can possibly create, and people may find that and start to love that on their own as well. And I think that's an artist thing in general. And after school, was that the other part of the question? Like, just
Like,
how,
what type of advice?
definitely, like she said, work as much as you can while you're in school. I did 2 shorts while I was in school. I DP'd someone else's short, and then I directed my own. And do that. Like, work as much as you possibly can and be open to collaborating with as many people as you possibly can, because just by collaborating with other people, I've done a free network before. I've done all types of like just random stuff, shot on rooftop, shot all types of places. But I got a camera and I just went bananas with that camera. But at the exact same times, there was a lot of stuff that I don't shoot because that my heart's just not in it. I'm not going to go outside and just take photographs of whatever. I'll do that with my iPhone, but I won't take out my actual camera and do it. Other people will get my camera and they go do that all day long. They like love it. I think it's definitely back to just find your own lane, man. Like after school or even in school, try to find your lane and like what works for you and stay true to it.
Yeah, I think it's important as a director to know how to edit, know how to hold a camera, know how to operate a camera. I mean, I think filmmaking, it's a community-based thing, and that's great, and it takes, a lot of people to make a movie. But I think if you are just waiting for this team to just assemble and like this group of people just to come together and just make your movie, I think you could be using your time in other ways. You can grab a camera, they're cheap. You can go, you can shoot something. It doesn't have to be a movie. Just keep yourself busy. Whatever it is, keep creating, whether it's that big movie you want to make or not. I think, I don't know. I think it's also incredibly important to have heroes, to have people you look up to have inspiration. I think a lot of people are sometimes afraid to admit what inspires them because maybe they're afraid that people will look at them and say, oh, well, now you're just copying that person, or you just want to make movies like this person. But I think it's important to know who your influences are. So I would say, as advice, have influences, learn to play an instrument because it helps a ton with filmmaking, watch a lot of movies, write every day, especially while you're in school. I mean, this is the best time, those 10 months were completely dedicated to that script and those people and the style of shooting and working with the composer and all those things. So definitely while you're in those 10 months, like it's like boot camp. It's like 10 months worth of boot camp for filmmaking. Just in general, though, just be inspired. Just know what inspires you.
Thank you. So one more question, and then we'll open it up to the audience. So my next question is, so what's next? What are you guys working on next? What can we be looking for next?
I guess I kind of mentioned about it. I have another short that I'd like to make and maybe send it to different festivals in that sense as well, about a little boy and a dump truck and a missing father story in a surreal way. So I'm working on that. I'd like to shoot that in the next couple months and then, go from there.
I'm working on a 3-part web series about addiction. It's not necessarily drug addiction. That's kind of the catch to it. You have to stick around to the last episode to find out what she's actually addicted to. But it really focuses on what people do to cope with addiction. So hopefully it's something that people can relate to, whether they're addicted to candy or smoking or, anything like that. Yeah.
I optioned my first feature with one of my friends. She works actually for that Vice show. And we did get financing. We're just waiting to get an A or B list actor basically attached to it to go on through with everything. So hopefully my friend over at MGM does something legit. Also, I started a website where I'm doing a blog, and there's like 2 different sections. One is called The Artist's Way, where I'm trying to get artists to come on and just write their experiences as artists so that we can begin to share it and use each other's experience to kind of like uplift us and help us, find different ways to actually be able to do what we really love and just learn from each other's stories. And then the other section is called From My Lens to Your Eyes, and it's just getting artists to just take pictures and put up different things that they're seeing in their art space. And there's a section there where you can link your own website or your own information so that people can get info about you, as well as launching an apparel line next summer. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos about artists and basically trying to do an artist movement about artist experiences. I'm trying to do a series of 3 to 5 minute videos that are just kind of, my first subject is he drew Simba and the Lion King, and he drew Belle and Beauty and the Beast, and now he is the director of animation at a university, and he's doing a whole series on ballerinas. And so I think it's like super interesting because he still doesn't consider himself an artist until he's sold in a gallery. I'm like, dude, like, your stuff is in movies. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Simba? Come on. Like, really? So I'm trying to do like that with artists. Is I think that as artists, we learn from other artists. So.
Yeah, since November, I've been writing a feature. I have about 5 drafts of it done, so I sort of put a hold on rewriting it anymore. But I also made another short film after Mariachi, which isn't quite done yet, but between that and Mariachi, which were both made on no budgets, I'm using those as sort of proof of concept shorts that tie into the character and tone and specifically the protagonist of this feature that I wrote. So I've been putting together like a business plan. I mean, I don't have a producer, so I'm just trying to approach it, initially being the producer and showing, what I have to offer with that. So yeah, the feature is my number one goal right now, is getting that made.
So do we have any questions from the audience? Anyone has any questions?
What type of cameras did you guys use to shoot in film?
We shot on a 5D and we used 7D for the flashbacks.
Same thing, DSLRs. And for me, I think the key thing is I like dramas or real things happening in our daily lives, whether it's family members or different people in the society. So to be able to execute something like that, for me, it doesn't really matter what type of camera you use. Maybe the lenses might matter, yes, definitely. But even with some mini DV camera or something like that, I kind of believe that that could be something that, people could do in that sense. So it was a DSLR.
5D Mark IIs on all of them. Multiple cameras though. Kids Are Dangerous, I shot with 3 cameras. New York, 2 cameras at the same time. Kids Are Dangerous, I shot with 3, but 2 cameras that were actually where I tell them where, I told them where I wanted the cameras to be going. And then the 3rd camera I had so that I could just bring it up and shoot as I kind of saw that I needed to catch different things. But I tend to shoot with multiple cameras just because I like the way they look when they're cut together later.
The pod was shot on the C300, the Canon C300, and then Mariachi was shot on the Red Scarlet, which I'm not a camera snob. I didn't demand it. I would have had no problem shooting it on a 5D, but the DP had access to a free one for the day, so couldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
What about casting? Was that solely your own director, or were there other people in your group kind of helping you with casting members for your film?
I had a really exceptional situation when it comes to casting. You have a story about immigrants in the States that they speak Turkish, different language, and you're looking for your actors in New York City. So I didn't have many options when it comes to casting, but I had some ads on Turkish newspapers and different Turkish American things here. Luckily, there were some applications, people came, and I was happy to have great actors like Gamze over here. And in terms of finding the right people after the auditions, I had 2 or 3 options in my head related to the starring actress. I actually shared it with some professional people like Bob. And after that, I made my final decision about having Gamze on the film, for example. Because in terms of my film, I really like the approach in minimalism, minimal facial expressions to, tell your story, convey certain emotions in your film. And I was looking for somebody that could just convey it in that sense. I don't know if I tried to succeed it that much in the film. So Gamze was great for that.
It took me a long time to find my Lolita. That took a while. I auditioned probably like 85 girls. I've actually bumped into Eric, which is so funny, who's my main character, Cliff. So I was just, had a random day off of work, and I went to go be in the audience of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And I saw this guy, and I'm like, every time the camera comes around, this guy is like, he's like smizing. He's like, I was like, who is that guy? Like, he's definitely working this camera. And then I put up a bunch of ads on like a bunch of different websites, and like the first person who auditions is Eric, and I was like, you know what, there's something there, and it worked out. The baby was my little cousin. I actually really wanted to use him, so I wrote him into the script because I knew I had that resource, and I just pulled a bunch of friends for like the extras, but finding the two main characters was tough. It was hard to pick. Oh, oh yeah, okay, yeah, the grandma. Oh, this is like so true. So I was putting out all these ads, and no one within like that age grade, like no one in that demo was responding to me. I had no one. It was like one of my last days that I had for casting, and this lady from Atlanta showed up, and she killed the audition, and I casted her on the spot, and she just like so happened to be up here visiting family, and like she came back for the film and was like awesome, and I got lucky.
I've used my producer is really awesome. I work with a certain producer for music videos and different producer for this feature. But the producer I worked with, that's who casted the little girl for Kids Are Dangerous, and her name actually happened to be Imani, and the music video is Imani Coppola, and the little girl's name was Imani, so that really worked out just because kind of like a comfort zone. When you're working with kids, it's really different. Like I've had to like jump on the side of the street and sing songs and do wild different things to get kids to kind of unravel. But yeah, so that worked out for Kids Are Dangerous. New York, the girl that is walking in the underground Central Park scene, she was actually a model and she was the artist's girlfriend. So I walked into the studio one day, looked at her, and I was just like, you want to be the girlfriend in this thing? You know, and she was like, she doesn't want me to. I was like, no, we want you to. So it worked out. She did it. And then the people that were in the mask, they were actually some of her friends as well. So, and one was her brother, so that worked out. And then the guy in the music studio was the producer of the actual track. And I asked him to be in it because I needed to close out the film. And I wanted to bring it back to the studio, like in this whole idea of like, she could go out and do all these different things, or she could record about it. And like, I wanted him to kind of get placed in it. So that's kind of how that worked. But normally I work with a producer and they go out, they get the casting, and then I come in and I see everything. Yeah.
The pod was through Backstage. We were using Backstage and a couple other sites. That's how I found all of my actors, the three for the pod. That was pretty straightforward. With Mariachi, we got both the two leads, the kid who survives and then the cousin with the long hair. The kid who survives I found through a site, and then the guy with the long hair was a friend of a friend, met him, played in a death metal band, was just into it, just liked the story and stuff. Had done a little bit of acting before. The biggest issue with Mariachi was the actual Mariachi band themselves. I mean, we were struggling for a while to find a band that could do it. I mean, no one had a problem with the content. It was just that every group we spoke to wanted like $600 per person per hour, and we needed like a mariachi group for basically, I think, an hour and a half to 2 hours is what we needed. So that was really, really hard. I think it was 3 days before we shot, and then my fiance somehow found a group that was willing to do it for like $500 for the whole thing between the three of them. And so that was like our only expense, really, was making that. So that was the biggest issue. Everything else has been pretty straightforward through either friends of friends or casting sites.
Anyone else? Yes.
Why happy? Wait, is this for me?
There's a mic right there, sir, if you want to grab it.
I said, why did you decide to end your film with a happy ending?
Is the mics on? Could everyone actually go to the mic, or if we can pass the mic out, because it's being recorded, so we need the sound into the mics.
Okay.
This question is for Anissa. I said, why did you decide to end the film the way it did? Why a happy ending?
Honestly, Bob was on my ass. Like I was struggling with my script, and I was really, really struggling, and I didn't know how to tie it all together. And if anyone knows me, I really hate happy endings. I don't like them. But I just thought that there was so much darkness in the film that there needed to be some type of resolution to tie it together. And since I knew I wasn't going to bring back his mother, which would have been the ultimate happy ending, I figured I would just salvage that relationship. And I've always been interested in single fathers and their struggles. And then I just thought there were so many low points in the film that a happy ending was due for that one.
You know, there's this expression I love: experience is a thing you get after the moment you needed it most. And doing this, there was probably something you set out to do this film. There was something you didn't know. What was like your biggest takeaway when you were done? You were like, "Wow, I'm glad I did that film because I got this out of it."
Should I start? For me, I think just the process of doing the whole thing, everything from coming up with the idea to screening it, was done in that 10 months. So one of the biggest things I took away is just feeling as though I had the ability to actually do it. Like, I didn't fail, I got it done. You know, you might think, what do you think about the movie? But I actually got it done. So that was a big thing that I took away. And the the style, I guess. You know, the style is similar to other things that I've made. It's sort of fits into a body of work that I'm proud to say is my own, and I can feel my stamp on it. I got what I wanted with it, so I felt as though I had sort of identified with what it was I wanted to do quite well.
Kind of the same in the way of when he said, like, you know you can do it, like, after you do it and you realize, like, man, I can actually do this. That was probably the best thing. That it actually happens for me after everything that I complete. I have this feeling of, like, wow, you can actually do this. And, like, these other dreams that you have, maybe of creating other things, you may really be able to create those other things. Like, you got to stay in this. You got to stay going with doing this. I think being a director, being a filmmaker, it's very hard to stay in it because there's so many obstacles that you have to overcome constantly. So that's probably the thing that I get most out of it. And then the next thing is I get a lot of what do I not want to do again and how I want to change things and what I want to be different the next time around. I'm pretty good at letting go of the project and not going back into it and being like, I need this to be different. That I already know. When I shot it, I knew what was going to happen. Like, you see it happening. But for the future, it's like you want it to be a well-oiled machine. And like Kids Are Dangerous, I shot that in 6 hours. I shot all those locations, everything in 6 hours. And I had a crew that had been with me by that time on 3 different shoots. So we were just all just in sync. And it was beautiful. It was a great experience. It was like, okay, this is how I want it to be. Like, when I'm really flowing and I'm really doing this, I'm doing this on a bigger level with like a full-on feature. I wanted to get to that level where like we are all looking at each other and it's that constant like, yeah, like this feels good, you know? And when you leave that experience, you know that that's something that you want to, you know, try to strive to go back to. I think that that's what keeps me on set. For me, my favorite part of the whole process is being on set. I love post because I get to see it all come together. But set for me is, I live to just walk on that set, you know, so.
One of the things, I guess, is the time crunch that you have, despite the fact that you schedule some certain things, work on some sketches in terms of the camera angles and different things. But when you go to the set, you notice that things happen so instantly. Like, instantly you have to make the decision, work on different things. Sometimes there's unexpected issues that come up, and you have to make your decisions in that sense. So at the end of the whole shooting phase, you definitely think that I wish I had one more shooting day to continue, you know. So that was one of the key things that, you know, I just thought about right after the shoot. Of course, there are errors in the film in some certain parts. You notice some of those as well, and you don't want to repeat those in your next films. But on the other hand, you have this extreme joy of looking at your raw footage a week after the film's shooting. Somehow it's advised that you're not supposed to revisit your raw footage for a week or so right after your film. You let it sink in a little bit, you let it, you know, flow in that sense. So when you have that, you have the extreme joy of, I've directed this film, I worked on this film with other friends, with the whole community. We did this. Now it's time to make it flow, make it look better, and share it with the viewers, with all the details from music to editing and all that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you could talk about after it, but at the end of the day, you actually notice that by being there physically, working on these things, it's a trial and error process as well. So you learn from it. You learn from it. You want to go to the next set. You want to work on new projects, I guess.
I have a question for all four of you. If you could describe your style as a director in one word, what would it be?
Loud.
Passionate.
I'm still finding my style, so I don't know yet, and I'm trying to develop a signature style, and I just don't have it yet, so work in progress.
Real.
What about you? Would you give them a style each in one word?
You give us a word.
Yeah, there you go.
Describe us.
Sure. Okay. Well, I didn't expect to cry today, and I did twice in 2 movies. So definitely heartfelt for the first movie. It was very. I felt like I was watching a show. You know, I'm obsessed with shows, and I felt like I was watching a show, and I felt like, wow, I'm in this with this guy. I feel this guy. You know, in the other movie, the Turkish movie. Ali's movie, I cried also because I'm just like, is he cheating on her? What the fuck? I was so,
Yeah,
oh, sorry, I probably can't say the F-bomb. But I definitely, the realism was definitely there, and I felt for her as a woman who hadn't saw someone for a long time, long-distance relationships. Everyone can kind of probably mesh with that. So I definitely feel like the real is definitely awesome, and the realism was there because I felt like I was there. I was taken to this other place, and I was there with, you know, with the language, and just everyone was so on point. All the actors, in the videos, in the music videos, I was ready to rock out. Like I definitely, I will say, for the music videos, especially the first one, it was like, who is this girl? Like I never heard of her before, and I, like you said, I want to go see more. And I think if you are going to pursue music directing, that is the whole point. It's like, if I see a video and I've never heard a song before, this is going to make me seek this artist as well, you know. So definitely, I would say intrigued by both videos, very intrigued, and I want to see more from you, from the artists, definitely. And last but not least, I would say funny. For both, actually, because when like even though the awkward scenes in the pod, like, I was just like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Wait. Like, are they're not talking to each other, but like, to me, even though it probably shouldn't have been funny, but it was funny to
It was
me.
supposed to be funnier,
Okay.
I will say. Like,
Okay.
to be honest, like, if there's one thing that I could have done differently, like, originally it was supposed to be more funny. Like, some of it still rings through, but that's probably the biggest thing that I would go back and redo. Would be like, I kind of missed the mark, I feel like, on some of the humor.
It hit me because I was over here like,
Nice.
and I'm just like trying to see if anyone else was laughing. But I love that awkwardness that happened, but it resonated to me, and it was funny. And of course, the mariachi, that was hilarious. So definitely funny for you.
That was more than one word.
Sorry. Sorry. They were awesome, though.
Awesome job, guys. I wanted to ask, before you make a movie, you have an image in your head of what you want it to look like. But actually getting that image out of your head and physically, you know, like making it happen, capturing it, I know it's a team effort and you've got to work closely with your DP and your lighting crew and your sound team. But talk more about kind of how you make that happen, because we're literally talking about something that doesn't exist, and you have to convey it to your team, and then all of a sudden, it happens.
And then we got to wrap it up.
I think collaborators are important, knowing how to express what it is you're interested in. And of course, it's never going to look exactly how you imagine it. But I think the more people you surround yourself with that either are into the same things, or maybe they're into something that you're not into, but through some weird way you can tell they mesh. So I think collaborators is how you just really achieve that goal. Obviously being a director is just sticking with what you really want, being as insistent as possible until it's just impossible. But I did hear an interesting thing. A friend told me he heard someone say that when you go to make a movie, the movie's actually already made. It's not that you have to imagine the movie or make the movie. It's just that you have to find the movie, as though your movie is done in 100 different ways and it's buried beneath the ground, and you actually have to go dig it up, as if it's some sort of fossil. Like that's actually. So it's, I guess, that's one way of looking at it, is that the movie is already there. You just have to find which way you want to go with it. But definitely collaborators is what I've found to be the easiest way of getting what you really want. Visual references, lookbooks are great. Like making a lookbook for our film was incredibly helpful, not just for people working with me, but for myself, seeing it in front of me, knowing what it is that I want, really narrowing down on things I'm interested in. It helps a lot.
Yeah, same. Storyboards, big on those. New York was storyboarded all the way out. I tend to have dreams about stuff. So like Kids Are Dangerous, I wrote it from a dream. Like I listened to the track and then I just had a dream, and like I knew what I wanted to do, and I pitched it to the artist, and I said, I want you in a straitjacket, and she's like, I have one. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So I'm, taking the dream. I always say my reel is called Your Dreams Are My Reality. And for some reason, I feel like I have this gift where people can tell me an idea, or they can tell me something they're thinking, and I can see where they're going with that, and I almost like can feel their energy and feel everything from what they're saying, and then I'm able to actually make it real. And like he was saying with collaborators, like I work with a creative producer that she's the one that made the gas mask, and I was like telling her like, okay, if there's gonna be gas masks, then there should be like a woman and a man, because the girl that is in the video, she's kind of like androgynous. She's like a woman and a man, so we should have both sides of her, and we need to make them real. So then she came up with the white gas mask, and then the other two being black, and we were going to shoot it in black and white. And it was awesome, because she was like, what do you think about white gas masks? I was like, no, like, not at all. Like, it's got to be all uniformed. And then, like, I called her back, and I was like, wait, I was so wrong about that. I'm so sorry. That's genius. Let's do it. So I definitely think, like, finding people that you can collaborate with, that you trust, that you really do just kind of trust what they have to say, and that that no matter how you say it, like how like far out you say something, they get it. And they see the far outness of what you're saying. You could say like, and though then, and they're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're saying. And you need that though, because as directors, we're kind of out there, and you kind of need another person that can connect with you on that wavelength, and then see your vision and bring it to life. Because we're all helping each other do that. And down to cameras, the guys that I work with doing the camera, me shooting, we all are in that same exact kind of groove. And I think it's very important to find a good team that you can really work with to help bring things to life.
I'm going to agree with the collaboration. I definitely think that you have to find people that respect your vision and want to help you bring it to life. But something that my professor used to always say is there's the story you write, then there's the story you shoot, and then there's what you actually end up with. All three are different. You're never going to write something and it exactly play out that way. There's just whatever, things just go wrong. But I think it's all about knowing what you want and having those quick decision-making skills, and just sticking to your vision. Don't know if that answered the question, but...
Aside from what my fellow filmmakers are saying about the collaboration, of course, I would say your connection, your relationship with your DP, especially when it comes to something visual. Of course, actors matter a lot for this, but as a director, if you have some kind of a vision of a particular thing, you want to share it, put down on a particular platform where the DP might actually get the whole thing in terms of what you visualize. So in that sense, finding that right frequency with your DP is really important, because if you don't really discuss some of these particular things, even some details in terms of, you know, how you see this film, the style, and etc., you might have a hard time on the set by, you know, being on the same page with him or her. That's also a key thing. Aside from that, I just thought about something specific, an example. I had the hardest locations in my film, like airlines and airports, I'm sorry. I was thinking about shooting that airport scene where she's going asking people, Nivik, that part, at JFK. But I was thinking about stealing that, and we were talking about it with friends over here. But, you know, it was really hard. You can even get arrested. So we try to find some practical solutions to that, and we were just thinking about having some low-angle shots in a really big place that has huge windows that might look like an airport. Luckily, we found some place like that, and we try to do it that way. If not, before shooting, I was actually planning to go to that particular place and just steal some particular shots in a really hidden way at JFK. So I hope these help. Thank you.